Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. What's going on, Dodgers Nation? I would have said that it's a hot one,
but it
like
is
7
not.
inches from a midday sun, but it's not. It's very cold in here. You can tell when the fat boy is wearing a sweater. What is going on? My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram.
I follow what you're doing now. Yeah, it took me a while. Yeah, it's cold outside. I can't really think about that. What's going on, guys? My name is Brooke. You can find me at BrookeMe3 at Brusdar. We're hanging out at BrookeMe3 on Twitter and Instagram. Today's show, we got a lot going on today. We have updates from camp all over the place, including what you like to call rosterbation, which is, whatever you guys want to call that. There were a lot of cuts, reassignments, moving parts. The as they say, the locker room is a little bit thinner these days.
Yeah, they say good. This life ain't good enough. I'd give my world to lift you up if I could change my life to better suit your mood. Cody Hosey, he was cut, right? He was one of the guys. This is how I'm doing it, guys. All right, I'm gonna address it. I'm gonna address it here right off the top. I'm supposed to sing "Smooth" by Santana and Rob Thomas. However, there are copyright things that I can't get by. Plus, the people of the 6 people that know about this.
Right.
That it got over 100 likes or whatever on Twitter. I'm supposed to sing this song. I did a poll or I did a joke, and I'm down to do it. But it would be so weird for the rest of the folks that are tuning into a show, and they're like, I have no idea what this is about. So
at some point, we will hold a live karaoke session.
Yeah.
Just separately.
As of now, I have sung parts.
We could
of
do
the song,
Instagram Live,
and I will sprinkle them in all throughout the show because that's what I do. Also, Dodger fans will be at Dodger Stadium this year. We're going to talk about that because it's apparently going to cost you a lot of money. And thank you, Logan, for throwing $1.99, $2 our way to help get us into Dodger Stadium. Logan cannot wait for Dodger baseball, and I got to tell you, I really can't wait to see it in real life as well. We want to get your guys' opinions on your best Dodger moments, whether you were there or not. We're going to talk about that later on in the show. We have a bunch of giveaways. I don't even know how to keep up with it.
We're giving away everything in this studio. You can win a date with Clint if you would like.
No, that was my old podcast. We did that with this weird guy. He's a nice kid, but he was supposed to go out with a supermodel, and then it didn't happen. And then she became a co-host for like 2 episodes. It was a good time. Before we get into the show, we got to remind you we are a podcast. Please do subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Pandora, everywhere your podcasts are available for free. We're there.
We are always there, guys. We never stop being there. We're there in your time of need. We're there when you don't need us. And we're always here. And don't forget, guys, this is a live stream. We're here in the flesh. We got no one else to talk to except you guys because we don't have any friends. So make sure you jump into the chat. Let us know where you're repping Dodgers Nation tonight. We want to talk to you guys. We want to hear what you're doing. We want to hear what you're thinking about, especially as it relates to the Dodgers. Would rather probably stick to the Dodgers and talking about the Dodgers because I don't want to know that much about your lives. It's your personal lives, guys. Keep it to yourself. Relax. Brian Hatfield checking in over on Facebook says, hi, Jens. Brian, good to see you in the chat. Always good to see you. Santiago checking in. Oh, Santiago is checking in on YouTube. Says, yo. That's how I read that.
It's beautiful. Restream.io is in the comments. This is how about Brooke's haircut?
Oh, how about the haircut? Yeah. Swag Daddy McGee says Brooke always has a fresh cut. I have not. I've been wearing a hat for 3 months for a reason. I like to hide it from you guys.
I do not. There's a lot happening with the old mop right now. I'm gonna get my vax done and then go back to my guy.
Or just shave your head.
No.
Just shave.
I think I have one of those odd-shaped heads.
Carla checking in over on Facebook says hello. Kim over on Facebook. Tina over on Facebook. Everybody checking in on Facebook right now. Chris El Cariza over there on Periscope says, hey, where's Gary? Good question.
We don't know.
If you've seen him,
he's away.
Tell us.
He's playing with pickleball. No, we want to get Gary involved more. I think it's fun. It's a different type of vibe with Gary, and we appreciate Gary.
Scott said, wait, where's new Doug?
Oh, new Doug. That's good. That's good. We always appreciate you, Scott. All right, first, let's dive into a couple of giveaway things before we get into the fun Dodger stuff, the reason a lot of people are here. The reason why I imagine a bunch of people might want to leave us bad reviews on our podcast stuff. It's like, these guys don't talk about anything. It's like 183 episodes deep, guys. We have rapport and chemistry. We like each other. not that way.
I don't even do this for a job. This is how I relax. So
This is honestly kind of true. That's what we're having here, having a beer. We are teaming up once again with our friends over at AM 570 LA Sports, along with Rockin' Brews, to give away a $100 gift card. You guys have probably seen it on our Instagram. But yeah, we are picking that winner tomorrow on our Instagram, so visit it at Official Dodgers Nation for more information. It may be in a story. I don't know if Eddie's going to post that. But again, $100 gift card, win, pick somebody. If you want to go out and you're feeling safe enough to go out and pick up a couple of brews at Rockin' Brews for St. Patrick's Day this weekend or this week, they're doing 2-for-1 Guinness specials for I think that's like $7 or something like that. So that's cool. If you like beer, like we do. I'm not a Guinness guy, but I if they have Modelo, I'm down. I'm down for some.
I'll drink Guinness once a year.
Modelo
On the 17th every year.
All right.
That's what I drink.
Back to you in the studio. Also, we're giving away 3 posters each week. Actually, you can grab that one off the wall because why not? We're giving away these cool World Series champion posters. Other way. There you go. Yeah, minus the lights. But we're giving away with @city or _ @city of champs or @ city of champs. We're giving away 3 posters each week. All of that stuff is available on our Twitter. It's that's on Twitter. Check it out on our stuff. Yada yada. Sorry. Again, a lot of giveaways. I don't even know where to start. Where we start with the Dodgers is roster cuts happen today. You were the guy who asked Dave a couple days ago, are roster cuts happening? And then now all your stuff was stolen.
So do you think that I was the reason for them cutting everybody?
They would have completely forgot.
He forgot. He was like, oh, we're supposed to clear out the clubhouse. Yeah, you're right. We're cutting 27. They cut 27 players. Is that what it was?
27, I think. There's a lot. A lot of them are on paper. I see a good shout out right here. Our boy Santiago throwing $20 our way to have some beers. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
The big names. Keibert, Ruiz was sent down, which is kind of surprising because he got into 2 games, 3 games.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a really odd situation because minor league camp doesn't technically start until after major league camp, so it's really odd because
and this
then
year
we're
it's
being
a lot after.
Yeah, but we're being told that they're going to still get work on the backfields and stuff. So I'm like, well, isn't that technically kind of minor league camp then? So it's almost like an informal minor league camp that's not actually happening because it's not sanctioned.
They're doing intra-squad games. They're calling them B games. They can do whatever they want with them, even more so than they've been doing to start spring training, or even more so than they were doing with summer camp last year.
Right.
It works. It gets the job done. It gets people moving. A few other guys. One of the guys I was kind of surprised to see get set down was Alex Vesey. I thought he was going to get more of a chance to get some eyes on him, maybe get one of those last left-handed roster spots out of the bullpen. I think Garrett Clevenger's already moved past him.
I think so, but also when you're looking at the list of names, Vesey obviously needs some work in the minor league still. Yeah. It's clear that he needs some things to work on, but you look at Scott Alexander and you're like, you're going to give that guy a shot. It sounds like he's going to get a shot for now, but we'll see how that ends up. I did kind of think they were going to keep Josiah Gray up in the big league camp, at least for the rest of it, the remainder of it, at least till right up to the very end. It kind of made sense for me, but he'll get his work in. He'll get in those games. He'll probably get to pitch more in those games because we tend to forget the further we get into spring training, the more that these everyday starters play like deep into games in order to get ready for opening day. So it makes sense that there's not a lot of room for the young guys who are just trying to get some eyes on them or get some extra innings in them. So
I'll tell you one thing.
I get it.
If he leaves, it'd be a crying shame.
More on that.
Gonna keep doing that all day. But probably the biggest name of them all, JoJo Gray. Doc's explanation today makes a bunch of sense. He needs to be starting. He needs to be stretched out, and now you're getting into the home stretch of spring training. Mm-hmm. You got on Tuesday. You got Kershaw being what do they call it? Piggybacked by by Trevor Bauer, and we know Kershaw's got a bad back. That does not sound like a good idea.
Don't jump on his back, yeah.
But to keep getting innings, keep getting these guys innings, it makes sense to send JoJo that way while they have so many other arms. That's just kind of where we're at. But those are probably the biggest names. Bobby Miller, you get it. He's looked good so far. Fireballer. He's got some panache, we'll say. But he's also never played
ganache.
He's also never played professional baseball officially. So
Oh,
Sure.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there was an actual professional baseball last year. Yeah.
Devin Mann down, Cody Hosey down, Michael Bush down, Jacob Amaya down. Notably, all of these guys can come back. They can summon them back from their own, spring training complex, no problem. But you'll find more about that. It'll be also on our YouTube channel probably not long after we're done live here. Doug will be back. He took some time off this weekend. He will be back, and he will be talking about and kind of breaking down the roster cuts. But what was the biggest surprise? Like, were you shocked or surprised at any of these guys?
No, I mean, it all made sense for me. It's all these guys that were probably not going to make the opening day roster or anything like that anyways, so they're just going to go get some more work, so it all makes sense. Like you said, I think Vesia was a guy that I would have liked to have seen get another look, just because to me, there is a lot of uncertainty with left-handed pitching. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Sounds like they want at least one more guy out there with Victor as a left-handed option, and I don't really think they have that for a certain guy, but, I mean, Clevenger... Doc keeps calling him Clevenger.
Just go with Clevenger.
I guess I'm calling him Clevenger now. So we're just pivoting, I guess, these days. But I mean, he looks better, I think, in terms of his progression from where Vesia is. But want to stop real quick, Leslie. I don't know if you're actually in the chat, but it is Leslie's birthday today. Shout out to Leslie. Thank you for always being a friend of the show. I hope you're having a great dinner wherever you are.
Yum, yum.
Yum, yum.
We are having a great dinner.
I am not.
Your boy El Caraz is in the stream. Chris says JoJo Gray kind of shocked him. Thought he would want to get an extended look at him.
Yep.
Same. I would also argue they probably got a decent look at him at summer camp last year. He traveled with the team. He was part of the Houston bubble, if you will, for the World Series.
Right.
So they've had plenty of eyes on him. They'd rather stretch him out and get him ready for minor league opening day and get him some more innings and get the other guys some more innings. So with that, we're at about the halfway mark of the spring training. Who, in your opinion, we'll do some who's hot and who's not, and we want your guys' opinion on this. 3 up, 3 down. Who are the 3 players that are most shining in your opinion? And I'll go ahead and lead off first as I ask you. Corey F. Seager. It's the easiest one you were going to do. Honestly, we probably shouldn't even list Corey Seager because there's minor leagues, there's like a 4A player, there's Major League Baseball, All-Star MVP, and then there's whatever the hell Corey Seager is.
The dude is just on a different planet right now, man.
He is man, and all of his dingers right now are just beautiful Oppo tacos.
You know when he's going the other way.
You love to see it.
He's just top. He's right where he needs to be. He's getting behind the ball. He's putting his hands behind it. He does not. He is one of the few guys right now that is the dead ball, if you want to call it that, does not seem noticeable at all. Because there's been a couple balls he's hit where I'm like, fly out to center, or that's a gapper, and then it's gone, way gone. I'm like, whoa, you got a hold of that one.
No matter how dead the ball is, if you get that backspin, she gone. That's just the way it works.
Put some backspin on it, yeah.
I mean, this isn't really much of anything, but I wanted to bring it up. We asked on our Dodgers Nation Twitter last week, because I think it was something they talked about on ESPN.
They did, yeah.
If you could sign only one of the guys, we didn't talk about it. If you could sign only one of Belly and Seager, we're getting more eyes on them now. Now, in some way, they both have a variance of injury history, we can say.
Yep.
Different operations. Who are you taking, Cody or Corey?
I mean, even after
you can only sign one.
Even after Cody's MVP season, we both said Corey, and this was before Corey had a great season too. So, I think you and I are both not sold on the fact. We are sold on the fact that Cody Bellinger is not going to ever be back to MVP form. Like that was in my mind, that was an outlier. That was one thing that's just 1 year.
Yeah.
Don't think he's ever going to be that again. I think he will be obviously a pretty good player long term. I don't know, man. There's too many things about Corey I love about it. I love his approach at the plate. I love that defensively he will probably move around at some point. I don't think he's going to be a shortstop for his entire career, but imagine that big body over at third base one day. Good, man. There's a lot of things to love about him. His personality, the way he carries himself at a game, the humbleness that comes with him, even with it when you're talking to him and talking about how good he is and he doesn't want to talk about that. It's like there's a lot of good things about him to like. I would go with him personally.
He is a phenomenal ball player. The fact that he is a shortstop, and you know what, this year I think he's hurt, and I'm pretty sure Dave Roberts actually talked about it in the offseason, that that Corey has heard so much of the the defensive chatter, and this guy should move to third and yada yada. I really think this is going to be a revelation season on defense for Corey Seager. I think he's going to be that much more focused, knowing that his body is together. He's that much further removed from Tommy John and hip surgery. Couple of postseason MVPs to throw at it. Dude's ready. The dude's ready to just crush it and go get himself, secure the bag even further that he's going to get either way. The fan base, over 5,000 people voted on it. Almost 60% of voted Seager over Bellinger. Yeah, Bellinger, great ball player. He's not the guy he was at the start of 2019, but he's also not the guy that he was at the end of 2019. He's somewhere in the middle. He's going to be like a 260 to 280 guy. He'll probably dong you, 35 to 45 bombs a year, play incredible defense, but I don't know. There might just be something that's honestly, his body might break down more than Corey. But yeah, for me, it's just Corey seems like the more complete person, maybe.
The good news is you're probably not going to have to pick from one of them, honestly. The way that the Dodgers operate, the way their pockets are, the way that even Trevor Bauer's contract is set up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different things that go into that thought process and signing Trevor Bauer to a pretty ridiculous deal. And I think that upcoming expiring contracts, upcoming young guys that are going to need to be paid are also something that goes into that. You think about the next couple of years, how much money comes off of the books. There's a lot of money that can come back onto the books.
Mm-hmm.
So I think long term, you're looking at it, the Dodgers are set up in a really good position to pay for the talent that they have now, which is something that is not being done around Major League Baseball. So you got to love it. You got to love that the Dodgers are making sure they keep their talent.
Whole bunch of people, by the way, are voting Corey here in the chat. We have, I think, majority of them are Corey. One, Daniel would take a belly. I would venture to say there are no wrong answers. But,
yeah, I mean, I don't think you can really go wrong. Yeah, I think everybody has had different experiences of both guys. I understand the frustrations that have come with being a Corey Seager fan. Totally get them. They're totally valid. I mean, you go through a period of time where you realize, like, dude, are you ever going to be healthy ever again? And then he comes back healthy and he's playing God-tier baseball. Let's call it what it is. He's ridiculous. He's out of his mind. But then there's the question of, how long does that health last? How long is that going to go? But then you go back to Bellinger. I don't know what to expect out of him. I don't know what's, you talked about it. It's a pretty serious area to be working on in terms of your shoulder, the area around your shoulder, especially as a hitter, not so much as a defender. He should probably be okay on defense because it's his non-throwing arm, but your lead arm when you're hitting, that's tough. That's tough. That's your extension arm, man.
For sure. And notably, Corey Seager's friend, Cody Bellinger, will be making his spring training debut tomorrow on Tuesday. Today, if you're listening to the podcast on Tuesday. Yesterday, if you're listening on Wednesday, and so forth. He's going to play in center field. And then the next day he's going to DH or something like that. So he's going to finally start getting in the games. Doc was mentioning he has changed some things around with the swing again. We'll look at that and kind of judge from there because that was something you talked about last week, the fact that he keeps changing things around in the swing. That was a big problem in 2020. The COVID layoff messing with him, never looked right in spring training, never looked overly comfortable. He ran into some balls throughout the season, but he didn't really start looking comfortable until the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, he already has a really long swing. Yeah, I felt like his swing got longer somehow. And that, to me, was a sign of him trying to hit balls out more and more often, which is something that we've seen. I don't know why it's a theme with him, but in the second half of seasons, it tends to happen to him where his swing gets a little bit longer, and it seems like he's trying to launch balls more. You see him strike out more. You see him roll over on things more. I don't know. I'm a little worried about Cody a little bit, but I won't vocalize that too much.
Once again, second week in a row, jury is out on Cody Bellinger. Next up on the Who's Hot, Who's Not, let's do another Who's Hot. Easy one right now, Gavin Lux. He actually looks complete on both sides of the ball. You are an inspiration, sir.
Look, I mean, I told, look, I just need you guys to go back. I need you to go back. If you're a friend of the show, you've been watching for a long time. We have a history with Gavin Lux. Yeah. By we, I mean I have a history with Gavin Lux.
He's a friend of the show. He's been on before.
Yeah, I've said some things that were taken out of context, and he only got to hear little parts of them, and so understandably he was not happy with those things.
But you sound like a politician right now.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm even using the hand movements and everything. But then you come back, and most recently I said that he was going to be a top 5 second baseman this year, and now he's out to prove me right.
Yeah,
and I appreciate that, Gavin, because I need that.
Inspiration by Brook Me 3.
The biggest sign to me that he was going to have a good year was the fact that he did look good on defense. I mean, he's been in the right spots. He's made the ranging plays. He's made plays where he's moving to his right and throwing across his body, which is not something that he's done in the past. He's just flat out caught the ball, which is something that he's never done.
These comments are pretty good. Jose Rod 05 over on YouTube saying if Brook publicly bullies you, you'll do amazing. Hey, now.
If any of you guys are struggling with something
Friend of the show.
and you need me to publicly bully you to get you to do it, I'm here for you. I charge on Venmo. That's actually my OnlyFans account. I just bully you.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I will pay. Is it free? And then you pay for the. Anyways, we'll break that out more on his internet stuff. But our boy Chris saying Gavin Lux looked better than Brook's haircut. I don't know if that's a slight on you or if he's just that good. I would go with the latter because Gavin Lux is really
both are good.
He's playing very smooth. You know, it's just like the ocean under the moon. He is that smooth.
Just like the ocean under the moon.
I had to. I told you I'm going to keep dipping him in because I'm not going to get copyright stricken for a few likes on the internet. I will one day. I'll drive home and I'll sing the song. No, I'm not going to do that. But he looks confident. And that was the thing you got called on last year, that he looked scared.
Scared.
And he was scared. He was lost. He was all over the place. And I will argue that there are times where his swing has looked a little lost-ish this spring, but he's staying on the ball more instead of just trying to yank it. So he's in a much better place. He's playing really confident, smooth-looking defense at 2B2. I like it. I like what I'm seeing out of Gavin Lux. I think he's going to get second base and definitely earn it and run with it. That's what Dave wanted. That's what everybody wants, what the team wants. Gavin Lux.
Top
Me
5.
3, the ultimate batting coach in MLB history.
You're welcome, everybody.
Our final 3 of the 3 players who are doing well, Mr. Zachary McKinstry. Zach Attack is doing kind of what everybody wanted, and he's doing it while out in an uncomfort zone, out of his comfort zone, because he's playing everywhere. They're dumping him in center field.
They're playing a lot of center field for him, dude. And I
flipping the bird at him.
I will say that that's probably not his best position when you look at him out there. That's not somewhere that I would put him on a consistent basis. But the good news is he's probably not going to have to play there very often, if at all. No. But I mean, he looks great at the plate. He just has it. You know, it's tough to not look at him and be like, let's talk about Kike Hernandez. Obviously, he's had that comparison all offseason or all spring training long, where people are like, hey, you're Kike Hernandez's replacement. And I'm sure he's really sick of hearing that. But it's hard to not look at him and be like, looking at your role, yeah, you're kind of left-handed Kike. So
yeah, and you got to commend him. He's taking it, he's running with it. He doesn't seem to be getting mad about those kind of questions. So that's a good thing.
His approach at the plate is just, I don't want to speak ill of the. He's not dead, but he's in Boston, so he might as well be. Kike is
shout out Enrique.
I mean, talk about an approach at the plate, man. Zach just looks confident. He knows what he's looking for. He's not going nuts at the plate. He's not. I mean, Kike just had a tendency to do this thing where it was like his first swing of the at-bat would tell you how the rest of the at-bat was going to go. And you knew it was like, okay, well, he's just out. Let's just write this one off. But Zach, super refreshed. I mean, he fits the profile of the ideal Dodger prospect coming up through the system. The one that knows how to recognize pitches, the one that knows what to go after, the one that works counts, the one that doesn't chase balls out of the zone. I love it. I love the direction he's going. I think he's going to be big on this team this year. I still think he cracks the opening day roster. I think that's a big thing.
You heard
it's a lot of left-handed bats on the bench, though, so that's something to consider.
They'll figure it out.
Bats on the bench.
If you can hit, then who cares? He got a knock off a lefty today, and just find a hole. All you got to do is find grass, hit it where they ain't, and play some decent defense. 3 down, and
who's not?
Who is not down? Who is not against the hot? I think we're being somewhat unfair on this, but why not? Absolutely. First up, your boy. It's a heavy your boy day. Brusdar Graterol, the Bazooka, has yet to make an appearance. So we're down on him because we have very high hopes for the Bazooka.
So it's like an asterisk.
Yeah.
An asterisk who's not. He's always hot.
And it's plainly for him not being ready to go. Dave Roberts today kind of danced around where Brusdar is at and when we can expect to see him. You guys listen to Dave, and we'll all talk about it together.
He's still got to go through some live hitters, so I would assume that he'll take down some hitters at some point in time. But until we check that box, then we won't see him in a game.
Dave, what happened this offseason with Brusdar where he couldn't, I guess, properly prepare?
There was just some things that I don't think that it's right for me to speak to it. Personal, some physical things, nothing kind of medical, nothing kind of like orthopedically, but that just set him back a little bit. He got married. There's some other things that just didn't allow for him to get his proper buildup in preparation for spring training.
And what has he been able to do? I saw he obviously threw off the mound all fastballs last week. Has he thrown off a mound since?
I don't know which day. I think he did, Jorge. And the last thing I heard is that he's going to start spinning some breaking balls off the mound. I'll check back in when he's more, facing hitters and get to be more active with us as far as in a big league ball game.
Is it getting to the point in spring where you're kind of running out of time for him to be ready for opening day, or no?
I wouldn't say the door's closed. I think for us, the main thing is that there's a lot of things that took place this winter for Brusdar that didn't allow for him to prepare like he normally would have, as far as throwing bullpens to prepare for spring training. So the last thing we want to do is, speed him up when he's not ready. So I think that his throwing progression, he's progressing very well. But I do think that as a one inning guy, a 1+, there's still an opportunity. But, the main thing is that we just want him to be healthy and progress the right way.
So are we going to say COVID, or are we going to not say COVID?
Look, I mean, it sounds like there was some sort of medical issue, and we'll let you kind of you can fill in the blanks on that one however you want to, but it was not relating to his arm, which was the biggest thing for me. I needed to know, is there anything wrong with his arm? Because if you guys remember, that was the reason why the Red Sox tried to back out of the deal. They didn't like something with his shoulder. They were concerned about that, and so we had to flip some extra prospects to Minnesota, moved around, shift things. Understood. I mean, I'm not worried. He's a one-inning guy. I think that's the biggest thing in this. You got to remember that he's a one-inning guy. But despite the fact that he's a one-inning guy, he still needs games under his belt. He still needs live ABs under his belt in order to be ready to go for the season, or else he's not going to get out of the gate rolling. He's going to get us, he's going to stumble out of the gate, probably, more than likely. We've seen that in the past. But he is a guy who throws triple digits. He's a guy that's got to build up to that. I don't think he's just going to come out of the gate throwing 100 miles an hour. I would not expect that from anybody, but especially, him, a guy who doesn't sound like he got a lot of work in, or any work at all in. Maybe he might not have at all. He did get married, so congratulations, mazel tov, all that.
Dave does not seem worried. That's a good thing. Of course, Dave is a very good actor.
Good at that.
He's a damn great actor. This is a long season. We are back to 162 game full ass season. So whatever happens at the start, the whole idea of the opening day roster and making that 26 man, it's a lot more of show than anything important. You want people healthy at the end of the season. This, if anything, could be looked at as a blessing in disguise, because there's one guy we probably should have mixed in with the 3-up. Jimmy Nelson is showing out. We haven't talked much about him because you did not know, you could not have expected, a showing like this out of a guy who's been hurt for the greater part of 2.5, 3 years. Was hurt again. He's had back, he's had shoulder. He's destroyed his shoulder in the past. So he's been all over the place, but he's showing out very well. They're building him up to be a starter. He's never going to start. I think Plunkett asked Dave today, he's not going to be in your rotation. Will he be able to, pitch in relief and all that? But this opens up an opportunity for somebody to see what Jimmy Nelson could actually do in the regular season, out of a bullpen role, maybe being that guy like Plunk mentioned, who can get you 2, 3, 4 innings every few days, which was kind of something. Brusdar was doing that early last season. Like they were kind of spacing him out, and especially in a season like this, that could be a good guy to have kind of plop there at the I guess it's sort of the front of the bullpen. But that's my take on it. I think you got to look at the positive side of it. If Brusdar isn't healthy enough to get out major league hitters, you have another guy you can really afford that opening to, and see what he can do against big leaguers in the regular season.
I think the Dodgers are going to take advantage of the fact that they have some veteran arms who are non-rostered that are ready to go. They're going to be ready, rolling right out of the gates. They're going to be fired up. And the fact that they have a couple of young, I would say younger arms with minor league options that are not ready to go. I'm looking at guys like Dustin May. I'm looking at guys like Brusdar Graterol. Both those guys, I think, have 3 option years on them. I think they will take advantage of them this year.
Sadly.
I don't think that Dustin May breaks camp with the team, which is surprising on one hand, but also it makes a ton of sense because, number one, he just got his second outing of the spring today. Still does not look like he's in mid-season form, which you wouldn't expect him to be, but you would at least expect him to be up to par by now. But I think that they are going to take advantage of the fact that they do have a couple of veterans on this team that do need to be added to the roster, or they need to be set free.
Yeah,
guys like Jimmy Nelson. That's one guy who has an opt-out date in his contract, and they were going to make a decision on him. He would have to be added to the 40-man roster pretty soon in order to make that deadline. Obviously, there's a couple of ways that they can do that. Tommy, he still hasn't been transferred over, I believe. So that's a spot that can be freed up. You also look at guys like Mike Kickham. Like Mike Kickham has come out of nowhere to be serviceable, and that's a guy that because he is a veteran, because he's established, because he can be that guy for them. I actually do surprisingly think that he cracks the opening day roster and sneaks his way in so that you can option some other guys for the first part of the season, and then he's not a part of the team in the second half of the season or even after the first 2-3 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, he would be one of those vintage Jags, just a guy that didn't quite earn the spot, but
got the spot.
Yeah, got the spot because Dave, likes the veteran presence and the moxie, and he's been there before, even though he really hasn't. Somebody like Kick has not been there that much, but sounds very Dave Roberts. He sounds very Andrew Friedman-y. Try to hold on to these guys as much as they can because, again, you don't need to have the most optimum roster on day one. You need it on day 162 and beyond.
Right. So I think that I think they're going to play with that. I think the opening day roster is not going to be the typical opening day roster that you would expect from the Dodgers, from the current team that they have. I think it's going to be missing a lot of pieces that you're going to look at it and be like, whoa, like how did this many guys get held off of the opening day roster? How did this many old folks make it onto the opening day roster? But I think that's how it's going to be. I think they're going to ride those older dudes who are not on the 40-man roster currently pretty heavily in the first part of the year, and then they're probably not going to be a part of the team long term. But I like Jimmy Nelson. I will say that. I think he's a solid pickup for them. I think he's going to, I don't know that he's necessarily going to start games, but he might. No. I mean, the way that they're setting things up, though, man, there's a pretty good possibility they go with a kind of ridiculous rotation setup to where they're piggybacking people all the time. So there's just so many different options that they can work with right now. It's kind of ridiculous when you look at what they could do with this roster right now.
Roach asks a very important question. We got to interject right here. Who has the tighter pants, Dustin May or Walker Buehler? Go.
Buehler's are way tighter.
Yeah. That's a money answer right there. Yeah. Joe Kelly, next up on our Who's Down. He's down because we haven't seen him yet. He's got some, I don't know what the hell's wrong with that dude. His body is just always never working, and I respect that because, I feel you, doggy.
Also.
But, it's tough to say he's been a bust, but dude's been a bust here as a Dodger, man.
Man, Andrew Friedman does not have a lot of bad contract. He maybe has one bad contract, and it is this one.
Yeah,
you could argue Kenley's contract, but that was not him. That was not him at all. So I'll go against that one. But I mean, you look at Joe Kelly's contract. If he had a great year this year, okay.
Oh, you're saying he could be the Juan Uribe?
Yeah. Yeah, sure, why not?
Our belovable Uribe.
So, it's so tough. Like, even at the time when they gave Joe Kelly that contract, everyone kind of looked around at each other like, look, I know what he just did to us during the World Series. I understand that. I get it. But the Dodgers have a tendency to make the worst pitchers look the best during the postseason.
Yeah.
We tend to do that often. Not necessarily that he's the worst pitcher. He's great. He's got a lot of good pitch mix. He's got some good stuff. Peripherals,
Yeah.
Man, the fact that I don't think he's going to be ready for opening day. First of all, he won't be. I just don't see how you could be at this point. I don't know when he's going to be ready at all at this point because there is no, and that's the thing with Joe Kelly specifically. There's never a clear definition of what's wrong with him. It's always like he has a lower body injury, and I'm like,
it's
okay,
just a
something's wrong with his
thing.
legs, and he's like, yeah, the legs hurt. I'm like, both legs hurt? Like, what's happening?
Last season, he missed a bunch of time from that egregious suspension, and then he came back and was still on the IL for most of the rest of the very short season. His first year, he spent some time in the injured list in September because of they never told us. Last year at FanFest before the world shut down, he didn't tell us what the hell was wrong with him. Just things were not right and things were hurting. Maybe dude needs to see a specialist. I don't know. Contract is definitely a bust. He's not getting that option picked up after the year. Not that was ever in question, but just know that this is our last year of Joe Kelly, unless something magical happens. Still, I just don't see it happening. But I don't really care if he's on the opening day roster. I don't need him to pop up and throw 40 curves because he can't land a fastball for the life of him.
Dude,
remember that? Remember how he
times as many curveballs?
Remember how he couldn't throw a fastball?
That was the thing, is like people were looking at it like, oh, he's preparing. Like everyone tried to justify it.
They kept bullshitting
They're like,
us.
oh, he's trying to hide his fastball. He's trying to save it for later this season. Oh no, he's working on his curveball. He wants to get it going in games. Oh no, he's just trying to shape the I don't know what the hell was happening.
They will lie.
I don't know what the hell the purpose was behind it. I don't know if it was injury related. I don't know if it was soreness. I don't know if he's like, I literally can't throw my fastball right now because everything hurts. My body hurts. I can't crank 98, so I'm just not going to throw it. I also cannot throw 98, so I will not throw a fastball either. The dude threw like 70% curveballs or something ridiculous throughout the course of the season. He's never done anything even remotely close to that throughout the course of his entire career. So to me, number one, concerning. Number two, confusing. Number three, I don't know what to expect from him. I expect very little to almost nothing in 2021 of Joe Kelly, and that is the only way to not be disappointed.
He needs to go back to that one-finger fastball because apparently the two fingers aren't even working for him. I don't know what's going on with that drive line and that edgertronic and all that kind of stuff. He can't even hit a net the size of this damn room in his backyard. So,
can you imagine if he did not have that Correa interaction happen? That no one would. The amount of hate that would be directed towards him.
Yeah.
Like Pedro Baez got a lot of hate, but that level of money that goes along with it.
Yes.
And the fact that he just hasn't done anything. I think 2020 was excused because it's like, oh yeah, you did that one thing against the Astros. We really appreciate you for that, i.e. But other than that, I mean, if he didn't do that, he would just be like, oh yeah, he just sat out the year. He freaking SOB.
And he pitched 8 games and got money. Well, hey, it's a good gig if you can get it. Finally, your final one. I want to know, why do you hate Scott Alexander?
I don't hate Scott Alexander. This is the thing. I haven't been I wouldn't say a proponent. I wouldn't say that. I haven't lobbied for Scott Alexander in any way.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think anybody has.
No. But I also haven't been the guy that's like, oh, I'm soured on him. Like I was never that guy. I've never been like, oh, I'm down on him now. I just don't feel good about him. This spring has really gotten me to a point where I'm like, yep, I think I'm out on Scott Alexander. I think that the peripheral numbers before coming to LA were just so good to look at. There were so many different things about what he can do and keeping the ball down in the zone and keeping the ball on the ground and keeping the ball on the ground with soft contact, where I was very excited to have Scott Alexander come to the Dodgers. Something happened. Not sure what it was. Don't know who talked to him. Don't know what woman he saw. I don't know what happened in his off-season routine.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to him. He maybe, there's a couple food places in LA that you don't want to eat at, with the C ratings, things like that. I don't know. Something went awry with Scott Alexander's life, and I'm ready to move on from him personally. I think that the Dodgers are probably pretty close to that, but it sounds to me like they want to try the best that they can to make him crack this opening day roster. He's still a part of the 40-man roster, so the only way to not have him a part of that is obviously to DFA him or get him the hell out of here.
Yeah. 2 years in a row, you thought there's no way in hell they're going to tender this guy, and they did.
And they kept doing it.
Zero clue. I can't imagine him cracking that opening day roster. He doesn't have options left, if I'm not mistaken.
Does not.
So he gone if they try to outright him. That's just the way it's going to be.
And he does not look good. I mean, he hasn't looked sharp throughout the course of spring training. He's given up a lot of hard contact. He's not given up a lot of contact on the ground. But, I mean, his one saving grace, I think, is that he hasn't allowed a home run yet. So I'm like, okay, well, thanks for that at least, man.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's only through 3 2/3, and he's already given up a bunch of runs. He's not striking out anybody.
Now that you've officially talked crap about him, boom, Cy Young.
It's out there into the atmosphere, into the universe, and now he will receive it. He will process it. He will DM me angrily, and then he will move on.
I like this. El Cariza right away. It says Alexander is just Brooks' next bully project.
Yeah.
But does it work if you talk about it? You guys let us know in the comments below. We got
We'll find out what happens with him.
We got some more stuff coming up. We got to talk about Dodger Stadium. We could actually go back there at some point. We're also going to talk about our favorite Dodger game moments and all that kind of stuff coming up. But first, we got to announce. Or not announced. Well, I guess it is announced. We're announcing our next giveaway with our friends at Elite Sports Collectibles. Yes, we are back with our friends at Elite Sports Collectibles. And this week, we are announcing that we are giving away this really sweet World Series autographed Cody effing Bellinger baseball. A guy that we just said that we would not take over Corey Seager ball. We'd take the ball. It's a pretty damn cool ball. It is autographed. It's a 2020 ball. So you know that's good. To enter to win, go ahead and visit us at it's on Instagram at Official Dodgers Nation. You're going to follow us there at Official Dodgers Nation. You need to also be following our friends Elite Sports Collectibles. That is at Elite SC1 on Instagram. Unfortunately, he keeps losing his account. It's a whole thing. Instagram's kind of being rude, but the dude is just trying to have some fun and give away some, not giveaway, but raffle off, auction off some cool sports merch for your local LA fans. So we're going to announce the winner of that next week. You have a full week to be tagging friends in the comments on that. So check out the post. It'll give you all the details on it. Once we do select the winner, you have 48 hours to respond to our DM, or else we're going to burn it
on fire.
Yes.
It's a 2020 ball, too, so that means it's juiced. That's the last of the juiced balls.
It is. Rest in peace.
Juice balls.
Juiced balls. Although I think they...
My rapper name. Go to platinum.
Another, you're not shocked to hear it bit that has come out from Camelback Ranch this week. Clayton Kershaw was named opening day starter once again.
Hit the button.
Which one?
The one that... Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that one, yeah.
You're not a Kersh opening day in Colorado kind of gal?
No, I mean, it was just one of those things where it's like, we're talking about it, but it wasn't really a conversation even. I think everyone kind of was like, there's just too many things that line up for Kershaw to start opening day for it to not make sense, Yeah. For me, I think it needs to line up so that Trevor Bauer starts the home opener, and I'll tell you why. Because
right after this, no,
you got to return. Listen to this message. Yeah, he was not a part of the 2020 World Series team, so it does not make sense for him to take part in the ring ceremony for the 2020 team.
Yeah, I can
therefore see that. He should just be in the bullpen doing his thing, and I think it just lines up that way. I think they're probably planning it out that way a little bit, which I think means. If my scheduling is right, unless he wants to pitch every fourth day, which like he says, but I don't think that's realistic. I think that means he's probably going to start the third game in Colorado. I think Buehler will probably end up starting the second game in Colorado. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that lines up for Bauer to start the home opener as well in LA against the Nationals that Friday. I think it just makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of things about it that make sense, but I think that to me is the most logical format that they're going to come up with. Obviously, Kershaw starting opening day. His 9th opening day, I believe it is.
9th and 11 opportunities.
Yeah, he continues his franchise record. He probably should have had 11 by now, but the back keeps blowing up, etc. Things happen.
No, I can agree with that. I do think in this situation, how much that championship means to the team, not only the team and the fans, but what it means to Clayton Kershaw and what it means for his teammates that Clayton Kershaw finally gets that ring. As much as he would probably have no problem starting it and would just absolutely shove, because that's what Clayton Kershaw does on opening days at Dodger Stadium. you'd like the idea of giving him that opportunity, letting him soak it all in, letting him get a standing ovation from the not 100 but 11,000 fans at Dodger Stadium. It's cool. I do like that idea. Maybe if they don't go Bueller, or if they don't go Bauer, maybe they go David Price. But Price was kind of sort of a part of it. But I'll agree with you on that. I think they did think it out. They're never going to reveal that much unless they win again. But let Kershaw enjoy it and just hope that he doesn't get Colorado'd on opening day on April 1st.
That tends to happen. People do tend to get Colorado'd in Colorado. I think that was the biggest thing for me. I was like, I wonder if they're going to find a way to skip Bueller in Colorado because that dude gets tanked in Colorado.
That would be nice to not have him. You don't want to open.
Oakland.
Yeah, you don't want to open the season with giving up 5 runs in 3 innings.
They just find a way to destroy Bueller in Colorado. I don't know what the exact stats are, but I'm pretty sure his ERA is hovering somewhere around 6 at Coors Field because, man, I swear every time I've seen him there, he's just gotten hammered.
You love to see it, but also you don't love to see it.
Speaking of getting hammered at stadiums. Good segue. Yeah.
Yes, you will be able to go to Dodger Stadium again in 2021. Celebrate good times, just like the ocean. I already did that one, right? What other parts of Smooth can I do that people will know?
It's the only part of the song I know.
11,200 fans, I believe, is the official mark that can enter Dodger Stadium for the home opener. A lot of details aren't 100% set yet, but chances are those tickets are going to be for a lot of money, definitely. And then there's going to be the secondary market, which is going to be even more. Secondary market's already going wild. The tickets aren't even available, but you can get a Loge box for over $2,000.
Yeah, these are all people posting their hypothetical tickets.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got away with it
because you don't even know where your seat's gonna be. I think there's a fee, by the way, if you don't have the ticket and you're trying to sell something. If you don't have it, StubHub gonna bend you over. Respectfully. Yeah.
What are the tickets going for now?
I don't know. This was something.
I think I've seen a couple where they're like $2,500 a ticket or $2,200 a ticket or something like that.
Our friends over at Let's Be Frank Pod, they posted that this morning. The shot of $2,250.
Here it is.
$2,250 for each for one ticket in preferred
and you have to buy them in twos.
Loge box. VIP $159. So there's you can't even afford that with the stimmy, as the kids are calling it, even though it's economic relief. It's not stimulating the economy, guys. It's relieving you of economic downfall.
Stimulates my economy. You know what I mean?
What? But
they know what I mean.
You can't afford that, guys. You can't even afford that with the stimmy, as the kids say. I still want to go. I'm not going to pay for it, but I still want to go.
Make it real or forget about it, Clint. All right? I mean, I just want to go. You know what I mean? Just want to be at the stadium.
For reals. So, we got some insider sources here, but not exactly. And I will note that we do not these are not our opinions. These are not our sources.
Stimmy Nelson.
This is not anything that Dodgers Nation is reporting. This is us talking about what a known season ticket holder, Dodgers season ticket holder, has posted about what he's heard from an air quote source, an insider of his. Some of y'all might know Moneyball Steve. Particularly if you ever watched Dodger films back in the day, one of the many times that Bobby Crosby took advantage of people to get money from them or to earn money off of them online. Well, Steve posted a nice long thread. I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble from all of his little simp kids that I think they're all like in their 20s now, which is
all
weird.
Very old adults.
But, shout out that guy. Moneyball, whew, he dropped a novel. Here's some of the highlights on the screen. Again, from Moneyball. This is from a source. Some of these things do check out. And again, I'm not trying to set up this guy to be some fall guy or whatever. I'm just interested in talking about these, and we could all talk it out together and see where we're at. But fan attendance, as we know, will be limited likely until after the All-Star break. The state and the city will continue to dictate when the attendance can expand, which makes sense.
Right.
It's going to be all based on COVID numbers, vaccine progress, which hopefully we continue to do well with. We're probably going to see a lot of the advertising banners in the pavilion again, because why not? They need to make up for all that lost time last season. Fans will not, most likely not be allowed in for batting practice. Season ticket holders are going to be given priority, and there's likely going to be pod seating. You wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Right.
Interesting one. Food will be ordered from your seat online, or it's probably like an app or something like that. It seems like the ballpark will phase toward being cashless, including parking. You can only leave your seat to use the restroom, which is going to be interesting to police.
You're not allowed to leave.
You're not allowed to leave. So that's fun, because they're trying to avoid people congregating. So that's why the new center field plaza that they spent $100 million on last year, we still can't officially, maybe technically see it. It sucks. We can't go to any of the bars. No smoking, which is good. I think smoking at Dodger Stadium is awful. No backpacks, which sucks, because I like bringing in backpacks because it's a lot cheaper. You got to have a backpack, Mitchie. But what's your take on that?
I think a lot of these things check out. Then you're looking at this list. I mean, honestly, if you're talking about in terms of just sources, like just in general, you look at a lot of these things and you're like, it's kind of just logic. Like it's kind of just a bunch of things that you can just gather up on your own. So in terms of what we're bringing to you guys, that's probably all pretty realistic stuff. We'll let you decide whether or not you think that's realistic or not. But to me, that seems like basic human, basic reaction to this sort of thing if you're going to allow fans into the stands. I think the biggest thing to me is the food ordering process. That's something that's being done across other sports right now. They do that in the NHL. They're doing that. They were doing that in the NFL when the season was going on. They are doing it in the NBA for the select places that actually have fans right now still. Have you ever used the in-stadium app when you're in the good seats to order food?
No, I'm not a monster.
Okay, yeah. Well, I've only been able to sit there one time. And
is that when you brought me
specific
that
seats.
meat? I think you brought me random meat.
Yeah.
It was very nice of him. Him and Mrs. Me 3 brought me a box of meat. It was beautiful.
It was great. It was like some sort of steak or something like that. But you can sit in your seat, use the stadium app, and you can order from your seat. And they just bring it to you. It just shows up, and they're like, hey, here's your food. And they throw it at you, and they flip you off and leave. So I think it's going to be something like that, which on one hand, I like walking around, and that's going to suck not to be able to do that. But I understand it completely, totally get it, because if you don't tell people if you give people an inch, they're going to take a mile. That's the whole point of it all. But I like the concept of just sitting there and people bringing me the things that I ask for. Can you go to the bathroom for me? So I think that's going to be cool. I think it also, I obviously don't know anything about the inner workings of the stadium or anything like that, but it sounds like it provides a lot of jobs for people, which is always good. Obviously, I don't know all the details of that, though, so I can't really speak to that. Yeah. But, looking at these rules, thank you for taking out the smoking. That would be good. I appreciate that, especially as a left field pavilion man, where the smoke tends to drift back into, and you can smell it because that's where the smoking section is.
The little smoking cage they have behind center field, or had behind center field, which is now a beautiful plaza that apparently we can't hang out in. That's the sucky part. I'm a dude, when I get to the game, I want to sit in my seat. I want to take in the ball game. I'm not as much of a freak that does the box score, but also I don't like missing any of the action because, whatever. So I avoid getting up and insert lazy fat guy joke, but I avoid getting up and doing all the other, I don't pee. I don't concession unless it's dollar hot dog night, then I'm all for it. But I do hate the idea that we can't go do it. Because it is nice being able to be, especially now you have so many, Twitter people, friends, from the internet or whatever the hell it may be. Yeah, he hates all of you technically, but that was a cool thing, being able to meet up and be like, oh yeah, let's meet up and grab a beer, behind home plate or whatever the hell it is, and watch from not our seats. Well, you can't do that. Probably won't ever be able to do that this season, but that's where I guess. Silver lining, Dodger Stadium's going to be open. That's going to be cool. Hopefully things start to kind of calm down. You can get cheap seats on don't go on a Monday because that's when our show is, so that would be rude.
Don't go on a Monday, guys.
Yeah,
I'll be there on a Monday.
Kevin Dodgers says screw Brooke.
Yeah, screw that guy.
Thank you, Mr.
Idiot
Kevin
Brooke.
Dodgers. We appreciate you.
I'm just looking forward to going to games again, man. I probably won't get to go till after the All-Star break. I would probably
we'll see. We might have to actually go for work, but
we might have to go depending on if they allow us to.
Shucks. I hate it when that happens.
And then those seats will be away from everybody.
Who picked these nice jobs for us?
Idiots.
All right, final thing. Hillary, start paying attention. Guys, we want to know, and this is all for you, the viewer. We want to know, plus us, because we're going to participate first. What is your favorite Dodger game you've ever been to? Whether, or I should say,
in person.
What's your favorite Dodger game ever? Do we want? No, I don't want to stick it to just Dodger Stadium, but whether you were there or not, what is your all-time favorite Dodger game that you've seen at least with your eye holes?
Seen at least with my eyes.
Yes.
Oh, you're asking me personally.
And let's non-playoffs. I don't know.
Don't just get very specific with everything.
Well, because you could either go. Some people are going to go Gibby. A lot of people are going to go Game 6 now.
I didn't see that one with my own eyes. The Gibby one.
Huh?
I didn't see Gibby with my
I
own
know
eyes.
because you were dead.
I saw it later.
You were undead. You were pre-dead.
I saw the rerun.
We're very proud of you.
Yeah, thank you for that. There's a lot of good. I mean, I've brought this up several times. I was one of Puig's first games.
Uh-huh.
Very fun game, electric. That was the first time you really felt like the Dodgers were alive in a long time. That was the very first time where I felt like the Dodgers might actually be good for once, when he kind of showed up and made that run with them deep into the summer, and they ended up winning. It was really fun. That was a really fun time for me. Surprisingly, a lot of my games that I really enjoyed had Puig in them. So
I can do you 5 worse. I was at Tony Abreu's debut. That's right. Shout out Tony Abreu,
Tony.
like 2006. What up? That's not my favorite game. I just wanted to.
You just like that one.
I just wanted to talk about that.
But I also got to go to Game 2 of the World Series in 2017. So
isn't that the one that Kenley lost?
he lost it, but man, I have never been at a more electric game in my to this day. I mean, it hasn't been that long. It's only been like 4 years, but to this day, I have not been to a more electric game or atmosphere in my entire life. There was so much excitement. That was the day that I believe Vin came out with Fernando. I think to throw out the first pitch. Yeah. When he's like, I need a lefty, and then he called out Fernando.
That sounds very much like Vin. A lot of great answers here. We got some Vin's last game. Deborah was there. We know Gail was at Vin's last game, or I think we know Gail was at Vin's last game. Colby walk-off. That's killer. One of my favorite ever watched on TV was the Steve Finley walk-off grand slam, because that was just such an awesome game. The build-up of that final inning, they're doing it against the Giants. It's fantastic. One of the best. There's a few. I've been to some really great games. I was at JT's walk-off, 29 years of the day from Gibby. You can't describe that kind of environment, but they were chasing. It was. You're down a run. You need that or whatever. I forgot the game situation, but it's a walk-off. So they won it in the 9th inning, and that was a killer game. Another one of my favorites was the Matt Holliday game, where he got tatered in the nuts off of, I think it was Mark Loretta, or if it wasn't Loretta, it was James Loney. Just beautiful moment. And I was in top deck. I watched none of it because I had my head. We were gonna lose. I had my head down in my hands, and I kept hearing things happen. So I was like, okay, I need to keep doing this. I can't watch the game. Because that's a thing.
That's a rule.
That's a thing. If you're doing something,
I have stood in the bullpen area or in the bar bullpen area for 3 hours in extra innings because it was working. So I just stood out there.
I did the same thing actually for the Finley walk-off. I had a chair in an awkward spot in my house facing the TV, and I had the same routine with my hands. I still do the hands routine. I still do hand stuff at the ballpark. Yeah. Find me. You could Postmate me at the ballpark. You can't come to the concessions anymore. But getting into a few of the comments here, Jose Rod does confirm, yes, Loretta, number 5, underrated Dodger that year. Sale Loner says potato nuts. Junior Martin, or Martin Jr., says Tatis's 2 grand slams in 1 inning. That is a cool game to be at for sure.
Henry was at game 163 in 2018. I was also at that game. That game was incredible. That was when Buehler pitched against the Rockies. Remember that?
Oh, wait.
163, but...
Oh, okay. I was looking at something. I saw Game 3 of the World Series in 18. I was like, wasn't that like the 9,000-hour game?
It's not a fun game. I was drunk at a bar when that happened.
Same. Shout out to that one bar that tried to kick us out.
I was in a Padres bar.
Oof.
We tried to fight everyone. All of them.
A Sale Loner was at the Milton Bradley tantrum game. You remember that one?
The torn
I mean,
ACL game?
different one.
Different one?
No, somebody threw a bottle at him, which is a dick move.
Yeah.
But then he threw it back in, ripped off his jersey, threw balls out on the field. Good times. Nice kid. I like Milton Bradley. He's kind of not a nice kid.
Is he
but
okay?
He's better.
Is he?
I have since caught up with him. He says his life is much better than it was then. I think he started doing things to
He was just
better
really
himself.
mad about being named after a gaming company. He was just not satisfied with that. It always confused me when I was a kid.
Juice Nero saying the Chase Utley slide into Ruben Tejada's leg. It was a really good game.
Oh,
that was
in peace, leg.
That was a game changer. Chris El Cariza, Lima time. Game 3 of the 04 playoffs.
Rest in peace.
That was also, if I'm not mistaken, Sean Green hit 3 home runs in that game or in that series. I forgot how it was, but Greeny and Lima, the guys who got us our first postseason win since 1988, and the Hershiser clincher there and all that. So that's a hell of a game to be there. Roach was at the one that Billingsley won against Jared Weaver, the no hitter loss for the Angels. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Billingsley. I think it was Billingsley at least. He was dealing, and I think it was Weaver, if not. But it was against the Angels. Great game. 8 no-hit innings and lost.
We've all been there. I mean,
on a wild pitch.
You could throw a
walk.
9-inning no-hit game and still lose. Just ask Rich Hill.
Bless up and rest.
He threw
up.
a no-hitter. That's a no-hitter.
He did. He absolutely
Give me
did.
that. That's a no-hitter.
A lot of love for Puig early on here. We got Kelly Piper saying love Puig as I catch back up. Dagger says Kershaw's backhand catch where everybody shouted MVP. Wait, the one between the legs? No, that was he did one between the legs too. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about. Yeah, you've seen a few crazy Kershaw plays. I was also at, I guess his name dropping. I was at Alex Cora. Alex Cora's 18-pitch home run game. That was fun against I think it was Matt Clement in the Shy Sox. That was fun. Chicago. That was a good time. Yeah. That's about all I got.
Jesus went to all 4 home games for the 2017 World Series for free.
Can we be friends?
I think his name's Jesus, but
Jesus is just all right with me.
Jesus.
Instead of doing smooth, take us to the outro. Jesus, he's our friend.
See, you don't need music for that one.
Took me by the hand. I said take us to the outro.
See, it's 8:04, guys, so we need to get out of here, boys.
I was going to keep going.
No, that's all right. Can we get out of here, guys? Guys, you can find us on the internet. We're at DodgerNation.com. Be sure to subscribe to this wonderful podcast to get entertainment such as that guy doing stuff like that. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM, so many more. All the places that you get your podcast for free. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/DodgerNationTV. Make sure you hit that notification bell. You'll get to see Doug, which is better than seeing our faces.
Another day, another Doug.
Another Doug. Guys, I am at BrookMe3. This guy is the karaoke machine on Twitter and Instagram. We are at Dodgers Nation on Twitter, at official Dodgers Nation on Instagram if you want to check us out. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for being here every single week, just like we are. We work hard. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. And we'll see you next week.
That close to opening day. Let's go.